Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me better with this instead of like I was. So, what's up? Hi, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie. This is the week 38 weekly wrap up. Okay, so obviously this is like super late, and that is because last week was super busy for me. Let's see. First of all, we had to get a totally new electrical system put into our house. Well, not really a complete overhaul. We didn't like open up the walls or anything like that. We just got a new box that to replace the like 25, 40-year old. Yep, that was a huge jump. But yeah, we had to replace that box because it was super old and it was out of code. So we're now up to code. I had to get fire detectors, everything like that. So last Thursday, we had no electricity in the house for the majority of the day. It was loads of fun. Yay. Woo, woo, yay. Good thing was the kiddo was at school and we didn't have to hear him, whine about not having internet. He's actually at school, so that was good. And then last weekend we went down to this lake and did a open water competition where kiddo swam a mile in just under 28 minutes, 27, 28 minutes, something like that. So that's sort of awesome. A mile, a whole entire mile in less than 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. Our kid's a strong swimmer. So proud, so proud of him. So yeah, that was what we had going on. And to top all that off, for our trip down to the lake where he did his open water competition, we completely forgot about the fact that we had a dog until the night before. So that meant puppies had to come with us. And if you watched any of my reels or compilation that I put up here at YouTube, then you would have seen he got a trip. He's not mad at me. He's downstairs sulking because he wore his little self out. His little legs, his back, all of that. Wore himself out and ended up having really, he has a bad back anyways because he's old and he has a bum leg. But yeah, he just wore himself out. Poor thing. Poor thing. So with all that going on, I only got 3 books read last week, so I'm just going to jump into them. They were great books. I did enjoy them all, so I'm super happy to be able to tell you guys about them. So let's just jump into it. So the first book that I finished was Wounded Kiss, which is To Be Claimed Saga #1 by Willow Winters. This is paranormal romance. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook because I am preparing to get the ARC for book #2. So excited about that. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait because this book deals with 2 different couples. You have one throuple and one couple, and I was so here for it. It's a paranormal romance, so there's shifters and humans, and supposedly there's going to be vampires. We live in a world, well, in this world, humans are sort of protected from the vampires by the werewolves, and every single year the werewolves get to come into town, and if you're of a certain age, then the werewolves, you know, you kind of get offered up, and it happens during your college years type thing. And I have a feeling I know why it's every year and why they kind of come into town. And then this year was really different because they took 2 females. We have Grace and we have Lizzie are the 2 females that they ended up taking. Then we have Devin, who is the pack leader, and then we have Dom and Caleb. And oh, I'm not going to tell you which ones are in the couple or which ones in the throuple, but those are all of our players, and it was so much fun getting to figure out who was who and where they went and everything like that. And then the cliffhanger, I was like, I need more. Give me more Willow. I can't wait for book 2. That's all I'm going to say about that. Super excited about that. Let's see. Is there any... Nope, that there are trigger warnings, but they're mild. It's more on the paranormal romance side than it is to have like major triggers. But if triggers are a thing for you, make sure you check them out, because there may be some aspects of it, of the book, that may be triggering to someone. I can't remember off the top of my head if there really were any, but there may be. I could have just not been affected by them. Next book that I'm going to tell you guys about is Duking It Out by Jami Albright. This is a rom-com. Loved it. Loved it. Give it 4.5 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. I had this as an ARC, but I ended up reading it as an ebook the day that it came out. It was so easy to read. It was so good. So we have a football player turned trainer. He was injured, so then he ended up leaving the league, and now he is a trainer of sort. He likes to take, the holistic sort of feel about training and stuff like that. That's kind of why it lost a star, because I kind of feel like even though he was injured, he isn't a doctor, and it kind of, I'm like, that kind of seemed weird to me. I would have figured, he would have went back and got his PhD in like sports medicine or sports, what is it, kinesiology. I'm butchering that word, but yeah, that or something like that. And then we have Sienna, who is a tennis player that injures herself, and her father, who is also her coach, calls in Duke to see if he can rehab her and get her back on the courts and stuff like that. Well, in turn, she doesn't want to do any of this, and she's being very stubborn. Her dad's not very nice either, to begin with, but you find out later on within the story that there are some things that are some underlying traumas that, everyone has had, and that's the reason why they're a little bit at odds, Serena and her father are. But she ends up hiding out in Duke's car, and Duke ends up taking her to his small town, and there are small town antics that end up happening. Serena is like, Sienna, I keep calling her Serena, I don't know why. Sienna, she is contemplating not going back to tennis, and she's like, that's not something that I'm super happy about. And along the way, it's sort of her journey to figuring out what she wants to continue to do. And at the same time, her and Duke are fighting this attraction towards each other. And I was here for this. There is a content warning for cancer and cancer discussion, grief. But otherwise, I really enjoyed this book, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out. And the final book that I finished reading last week was Kiss and Don't Tell by Meghan Quinn. I am placing this in contemporary. It may be marketed as a rom-com, but I think it's more contemporary. I give it 4.5 stars. I give it 4.5 Steam fans. I didn't think, I had it as an ARC, and it released early, so you guys can go out and read it. But it pushed up my timeline to have it released early, so I'm happy that I did. The audiobook was also released early as well, so I got to listen to it. But this is Step Brothers ex-girlfriend and 5 hockey players. I'm not going to tell you which hockey players. I have a feeling that Meghan is going to write a series for these hockey players, because I'm like all about it. So we have Winnie, who is out and about and ends up getting breaking down on the side of a mountain, and ends up walking up to this cabin. And this is where she meets Pacey, Eli Hornsby, Levi Posey, Silas Taters, and Halsey Holmes. Those, I have to give you both names, because throughout the book, I actually had to write them down to remember who each person was talking about, because sometimes they use first names, sometimes they use last names, sometimes they use nicknames based off of either the first name or the last name. So yeah, you kind of need to have first and last names. But Pacey is Laws, by the way. Last name is Laws. And they are all hockey players. One of them has been injured. The others, we have a broody one that just broke up with a girlfriend. We have kind of the over-sexualized one in the media that isn't as he may seem. Who else? We have the rich one. I think the rich one and the broody one are the same. I could be wrong, but it could be different. Regardless, we have 5 hockey players that brought so much joy to my life in this book. And then we have Winnie, who is just such goodness. She's on a track to go deal with some family issues, let's say that. And I really, really loved it. And it was a rainstorm, by the way, not a snowstorm. And it's in Canada. Yeah. So then we have the whole big reveal of stepbrother's ex-girlfriend because there was something familiar about them. And yeah, I was here for this. Back to that dirty talk. That's where I was going. Oh, well, not really where I was going, but one thing that I need to talk about. I didn't think Meghan Quinn could amp up her dirty talk, but she surely did. And she is doing it in like text messages and emails and FaceTimes. And I'm just like, really? We're doing this? Really? Oh, okay. Woo! That's so steamy. So steamy. So I just have to applaud her for that. On to what I am currently reading. I am currently reading Homecoming Queen, Carlisle Sellers #2 by Fabiola Francisco. I'm reading Insatiable Lover by Krystyna Allyn. And I am also reading This Love Hurts, which is This Love Hurts #1 by W. Winters, aka Willow Winters. And I am enjoying them. I'm enjoying this ride of those stories because they are all very, very interesting and very, very different. So I'm excited to tell you guys about them next week as well. I will also be trying to read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey because I've been saying all month long that I wanted to read this book, so I'm going to get this one read. I have it on audiobook, so we can get that taken care of, as well as Silent Waters by Brittany Cherry. Whew, those are the only 2 books that I need to get done before, what is it, Thursday, I think it is. Thursday or Friday, which is when the first of the month switches over. So yeah, got like 3 days to get these done. But yeah, that's all that's going on. And I thank you guys for hanging out with me and being part of my Patreon group. And I just appreciate you guys a lot, a lot, a lot. So other than that, thank you guys for watching again. And I will see you guys in another video.